In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly
and Andrew Fiore.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up in that, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your
Hello there, Defenders! And welcome to another edition of Defend Your Movie. I am one of your hosts, Sean Donnelly, joined here by my post-birthday lovable co-host, Andy Fiore, everybody.
Hi, everybody. That was very Dr.
You just
Nick
waved.
of me.
You just, hi, everybody. How are you? How are you
good.
post-birthday, Andy?
Good, man. Recuperating.
We are joined by a very special guest today. Super funny comedian. You see him probably perform all over the country, all over the world, probably. That's what we do as comedians. Ryan Schutt, ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, everybody?
Thanks for doing this, dude.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man.
I'm excited.
I'll be, we'll get into the meats and potatoes in a second, but, I mean, well, I want to tell you how it came about. I think I'm going to do this every time. I'll put the matchup online and see if we get any biters. Because I put the matchup on today, and he right away, Ryan messaged, he wrote a comment like, you're out of here, you're crazy, you're fucking stupid.
I gave you a hearty, come on, man.
Come on, man. Come on, man. That's how you know a white dude's annoyed. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
Bro.
Like, that's, because we can't, as white dudes, you can't say anything anymore. Like, you don't want to, you can't get emotional anymore. You have to just be, so the only thing you can go to is, Come on, man. Come on. Just give me a break. You know, whatever.
I let you fill in the gaps.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, just by being like, come on, man.
Come on, man. And then my brain went wild the minute you said that. I was like, oh, that's how I knew you were for real.
Yeah.
Because you were like, come on, dude. Like, you really believed it. That's why I'm excited that you're here. And you're a super funny comedian if you haven't seen Ryan perform, go to his website. Do you have a website?
Yeah, I got a .net.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know.
What's before the .net?
RyanSchutt.net.
RyanSchutt.net. You get your whole name there. That's great.
Yeah.
RyanSchutt.net. Go check him out. He's fucking hilarious. Anyway, how are you, buddy?
I'm
After
doing
birthday.
Good. Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for coming out.
The birthday was fun. Unfortunately, I came to the show. Did you get any Defenders come up to you at the show?
No, we didn't have anybody take me up on the drink offer. But we did. I had a few nice people just say, hey, thanks for doing the podcast. We love it. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they didn't.
So nobody wanted the drink.
Maybe they didn't. I have a feeling people didn't want to take me up on the offer
Because they felt like it was your birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of didn't make any sense.
I just
but you
wanted
were trying to be nice.
Exactly.
You wanted people out for the show and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just wanted to get some Defenders there.
But it was a really fun show, and it was sold out, and it was a killer lineup.
Thanks for doing it.
And it's funny because that room, as we know, performing in the cellar, like the Fat Black room is a way more relaxed room sometimes.
So much more.
But your show was like, they were awesome.
It was.
The
good,
crowd
but
was
it's almost to the detriment, because when you're in McDougal room, you know it's going to be great, and they're there, and they're excited to be in that room. I think you get the spillover from the VU and the Fat Black, and they're in a lounge, so they're already relaxed.
Yeah, they're all couched up.
They were very good energy, and so it was. Thank you so much for everybody coming out. It was It
was a lot of fun. But what happened was I did this thing where I'm like, it's your birthday, and I drank like a fish the whole night.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah,
on birthdays.
Yeah, exactly. And
Whiskey?
I had
Oh,
whiskey.
boy.
We did about 2 or 3 whiskeys on the night of your show, and I did it from the thing. So I drank a bunch, so I ended up getting sick from drinking a bunch at your party.
Yeah, that happens.
And but I had this thing in my head where I'm like, I already had a little bit of something going on, but it wasn't that bad, like cold-wise. But it wasn't that bad. But because it was your birthday, I was like, I can't not be here and drink for it. Like, I can't go home. Like, I can't, whatever. So I literally just drank like a fish all night and got to the point where, like, I got, like, not angry drunk, but I was, like, frustrated, sad drunk at the end of the night. Like, and then got in an Uber and went home, you know? Like, I had this guy who asked for change always in the neighborhood down there. And I thought he was a comic the first time I met him because he goes, Sean, everybody loves Sean. Give me $1. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't have anything. So that night, I told him 3 different times. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have anything. I don't have anything. And then finally, I was like mad drunk, and I went out and I was talking to this girl, and I forget what I was talking about, but I was getting like frustrated. And he came over then, and I go, I go, go ahead. Like, go away, please. And I was just frustrated with the conversation, but he was like, don't talk to me that way. You can't dismiss me. I'm like, dude, you come up to me 3 times already. I'm like, I'm not dismissing you. You ask me 24 hours a day. You're asking me for change. And I tell you all the time, you know who I am. I'm not going to give you anything. I'm sorry. But like, I was like, oh my God, I got so mad. And then I hopped in the Uber. I went home.
Yeah.
You broke his heart, man.
I broke his heart.
You want to be your buddy.
Yeah. Do you have any stories from the birthday that I didn't know about?
It was honestly a very whirlwind type of day because you're getting pulled in 10 different directions and you're worrying about the show because it's your show. So it goes by in such a blur. I don't really have any standouts.
It's almost like a mini wedding for yourself.
Yeah, it was out late. By that an hour after the show, I'm drunk. So it's like I remember having a great time, but can't be like, oh, and then we did this, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you guys were at Fat Black, and then you went to...
We went to our buddy's bar.
You went to 11th Street Bar.
Yep.
We should plug the bar. Dan
Absolutely.
Sweeney's bar, 11th
Yeah.
Street Bar in Manhattan.
Right here in East Village.
Right here in East Village, and it's a great bar, actually.
Great bar. Really cool. Every time I bring somebody there who's never been there, they're like, oh, this is such a cool off-the-beaten-path bar. I can't believe I've never been to this bar before.
A lot of space in the bar, too.
Yeah.
It's like deceivingly bigger than you think.
Yeah.
This one has like
Great
upstairs
spot.
and stuff too, right?
No, upstairs it's one level, but it opens up into the back, and they either have a band or just more room to hang.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a super fun place and run by good people. So check it out.
Check it out, baby.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then you had your party Saturday at
Big party.
O'Hanlon's.
Yep.
And then that's when I was too sick to go there and drink. But I did do a shot.
But you went there and drank anyway.
I had a shot, and then the rest I had seltzers.
It's less than 3 drinks. It doesn't really count as drinking.
No.
Yeah, well, I know, but he was on antibiotics.
Yeah,
which is,
I'm
I
sure
don't know
I
if that
screwed up
still
my
counts.
antibiotics.
Soldiered on.
Yeah, but I was like...
I don't think the antibiotics get screwed up. I think it's your liver that gets screwed up.
Yeah,
I think the
but one
antibiotics still
shot's
work.
not going to do anything.
No, of course not.
I'll be okay. I feel fine now.
But that was super fun. Thank you to everybody, all my out-of-town friends who came and hung out, and it was really a great time, and it means the world to me that everybody came. So I appreciate it. But speaking of birthdays, we can get back into the entertainment side of things.
Yeah.
We got some good born on this days.
On your birthday, or you mean today?
No, today, like when we were recording this, because sometimes I'll do this, but other times I'll forget.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I look and it's not really great ones. Today, we have some real heavy hitters.
And just so you know, we're recording on the Tuesday of the week we put it out.
June 11th.
June 11th.
I believe. Well, we'll start by Joe Montana.
Okay.
This great all-around guy. Hosted SNL and appeared on The Simpsons. So,
Oh, so that's his entertainment connection.
Yeah, childhood hero of
and
mine,
he was in
though.
a bunch of commercials.
oh, yeah.
But
Totally.
he's still alive, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, he was recently in
He
commercials.
did, that was he was back in the day. Wasn't there a joke about him doing commercial for isotoners? That was the big thing.
That was Joe Namath.
Oh, it was
I
Joe
believe.
Namath. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Joe
yeah.
Montana's
Maybe
the.
it was Joe
I'm sorry.
Montana. I don't know.
Joe Montana's the Broncos.
Oh,
Joe Montana.
49ers.
49ers. Sorry.
I was totally thinking Joe Namath just now, too.
I was thinking Joe Namath.
I was like, yeah, the guy with the fur coat. Broadway Joe Montana.
Peter
Idiot.
Dinklage.
Oh, nice.
Another connection also from my hometown of Morristown, New Jersey.
You love, and he loves anything related to Jersey or his hometown. He loves.
Oh, you wouldn't say that if it
Oh,
wasn't?
no, hell no. I do it every
well,
time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess it's true.
Another Gemini from Morristown. Here's a big one. Gene Wilder.
Oh,
Great one.
that's huge.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch an interview with Gene Wilder after like he was retired and stuff? He's just an old curmudgeon.
I know.
Like, he's just an old man. He looks like he's going to chase them off his lawn in between him. Like they did like a 92Y thing with him, and I was like, when is he going to be interesting?
Yeah. He's one of those guys you look back because his career spans so much of like my childhood into my adulthood. You go, holy shit, he knocked it out of the park almost every single time. And like what iconic roles too.
Oh, yeah.
You know
He
what
was
I mean?
amazing.
Cisco Kid, Willy Wonka.
We were talking about how Richard Pryor got screwed out of the Cleveland Little role in Blazing Saddles.
All those, yeah.
And it would have made sense because they ended up doing how many movies together? Because they did Silver Streak.
Well, yeah, they did
and
a bunch.
They did a,
Weaver, Hillary, Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, tons, which is one of my favorite lines. One of my favorite Richard Pryor, because he's blind, and then Gene Wilder's deaf, right?
Yeah, and See No Evil, Hear No
Oh,
Evil.
yeah. And he goes, they're driving. He's keep your eyes on the road. He goes, if it makes you feel any better.
That's pretty good.
And maybe this one is this.
Now, Gene Wilder died, right?
Yeah, he died a couple years ago.
Yeah,
not too long ago. But
what do you think the best thing let's do this before we get off it.
probably-
The best thing he did was Willy Wonka?
I like Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein. I think you might be right.
Yeah.
That was my dad's
I love
favorite.
Blazing Saddles so
Favorite
much,
comedy
though.
movie was Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Favorite Mel Brooks. Favorite comedy movie was Young Frankenstein.
Okay.
He goes, when they're sitting there, and he goes, you haven't even touched your Google, and he goes, there, I touched it. That's it. Like, there, I touched it.
Yeah, that's a really tough one. Probably most known for Willy Wonka.
Definitely most known for Willy Wonka. Roald Dahl hated it.
Really?
Well, the author of Willy Wonka, or Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, hated the movie.
Did he say why?
Didn't like how they did it.
Really?
I guess they didn't like how they portrayed it.
I have a feeling that guy's just completely fucking nuts.
Probably,
There's no way he's not.
If you're writing that book, you're not going to like many.
Just authors in general, like, off to a bad start with the, like, being normal thing, but then also just, like, creative, bizarre children's books. He's a nut.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Up until like an embarrassingly short amount of time ago, I thought his name was Ronald Dahl.
Oh, did you
Yeah,
really?
just one of those things.
It's a weird ass name. Rolled?
Yeah,
Rolled.
you're just like, Ronald Dahl.
Yeah.
Forgot a consonant.
What, are you selling pretzels?
No.
And then the big one, your favorite of mine, Henry Hill, born on this day.
He's dead, right?
He died recently too,
He died recently.
but has given us so much love.
Oh my God, Henry Hill, the person,
The actual person.
which inspired Ray Liotta, the character from
Correct.
the Goodfellas, the movie, which is made by Wise Guy, the book by Nicholas Pileggi.
Yep.
Oh my God, yeah. You want to talk about how many times a day you think about Henry Hill?
More than I should.
Well, more than I should too. How many times they were quoting Henry Hill's alter ego?
I did it 4 seconds ago before he walked in.
Oh, absolutely. There was remember your friend Gabby at your party.
Oh,
she quoted Goodfellas. You can't. That's the thing. It's like, what do you think? Besides Seinfeld, the number 2 quoted thing in my life might be Goodfellas.
Yeah, well, that's what we were saying. We were like, Seinfeld and Goodfellas were the two. We were like, she knows both. She's great.
And Henry Hill, how much do you think to the movie? There was how much you seen Goodfellas? Obviously,
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you love it or?
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay,
Goodfellas.
How much do you think was? Because you remember seeing. It's so funny when you see the real low down, dirty, like actual people.
Yeah.
Because you look at Ray Liotta, like I think he did a good Hollywood job of it. Because
For sure.
when you used to see Henry Hill interviews or Henry Hill on Howard Stern, you'd be like, oh yeah, he's like not even close to as attractive as Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
And the things that he was doing, like. It was way more devious than like in the movie. Like they really like Goodfellas is like mob light. Like the stuff that was actually going on back then. I don't know if you ever heard. I've talked about it on the
I read
show
the
before.
book. I read Wise Guys.
Yeah, and it's way
It's
sicker,
way more
right?
detailed and
But it's way darker, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
they
they
still have to
talk
make
about
a Hollywood
they talk
movie.
about the book Jimmy Conway like killing the families. Yeah. Jimmy Conway,
Bad
Robert
person.
De Niro, that character.
They
like,
make you love him.
They make you
And
love
you're
him.
like, in real life, you're
Yeah.
like, that's a bad man.
bad, like serial killer.
It's hard to make a lovable sociopath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they did it with Tony Soprano.
No, I guess he's the only one that I can really think
But
of.
he's a
where you're
fictional
like,
character. He's
Yeah.
probably based on real people.
Right.
But when you have what's his name? When you have Jimmy Conway, like that guy would kill. Like anybody would kill families because. Doesn't that go outside the realm of the mafia?
Yeah.
Where you were like, wasn't there like this weird like romanticism where they would have these rules between each other where
Absolutely.
families were off limits? But then you hear stuff like that, you're like, oh no, these guys were just maniacs.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
absolute
civilians,
maniacs.
family members, they did live by that old like Cosa Nostra code where it like came as like it came from like the Romans councils where they would rule it like a government.
Yeah.
And they had rules and everything was in place, and it obviously got bastardized over the years, and then obviously guys broke the rules with
Wasn't that an actual line in Goodfellas? Like, once the coke came in, like, that all started to break down, like, everybody just turned into a fucking maniac?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, does he say it?
Yeah,
Once,
it's just like a thing where, like, isn't that, like, one of the major turning points of that movie?
I know,
like,
it's
once they
Paul
started selling
Sorvino.
coke.
It does
thing
start
is
in the
like-
beginning voiceover. He's like, it was a beautiful time before the,
before
Crazy
started a
Joe
war.
Gallo started a war.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I don't even know what they're referring to.
I read that book, the Gallo brother. There's like this, Crazy Joe Gallo, or maybe it's not his first name, but
What year was that? That was in the 80s?
60s.
So that was 60s.
Yeah,
Okay,
early
okay.
60s.
Gotti was a big coke guy, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
by
so.
the 80s, that was all,
It was all coke. I think.
Yeah.
You know what it wasn't coke? It was like, I feel like there was early on in this time, which was like the 50s, and then the late 40s, like Godfather time.
Right.
Because
Well, I mean, they make that whole
they make
point of The
mention to
Godfather,
it. Yeah,
you
exactly.
know.
But that's that connection where Paul Sorvino doesn't want it and the Godfather doesn't want it.
Yeah. A lot of money in that white powder pop. What's the answer going to be? So that wraps it on the birthdays. I thought you'd enjoy those because there are some big ones today.
That's huge. The Henry Hill one is huge. That guy, because he just, even when he got on the witness, it's so funny because after you watch Goodfellas, you'd think that would be your only experience with that world, but because we've lived long enough, we know what happened to him after. Like he got divorced from Karen, and actually I think they said it in the movie, but like he just he started committing crimes after he was in witless relocation. But he never died from somebody killing him.
I know, nobody ever got revenge for him being a rat, which I always is like, when you see those guys do testimonials on like mob shows, you're like, how did they not get picked off? How did they live in civilian life?
How is it not easy just to walk up to him and shoot him in the head?
Yeah. It's also high profile as shit. I imagine that protected him like past a certain point.
You're probably right.
I have a distinct memory of my first day in college in 2005. They were just on the radio. They were like, Henry Hill rode up to a parole hearing, and he got arrested because he blew a .28. Or not a parole. He had like a meeting with the parole officer.
Yeah.
And just showed up drunk as fuck, and probably, coked out of his mind, too.
Yeah. I think the guy it was a hopeless situation.
What a life. It's like, hell yeah, Henry. Don't let him change you. .28.
Before we get into the thing, I watched two things. Well, I mentioned them really quickly. I watched Rim of the World, which is on Netflix. To me, it seems, after watching it, I remember seeing on Netflix, action movie based on these kids that go to a camp, and very quickly, when they get to the camp, they realize there's an alien invasion going on in the city of Los Angeles. So they have to make their way down and try to help things out and save the world, whatever it is. Now, this was definitely a movie where I think they thought it was going to be this big property, and then something happened along the way where probably 10 different directors got a hold of it, and then 10 different writers got a hold of it, because it doesn't know what it is. Because you would think off the trailer, it's a cool, like, Goonies-style kids movie with action thrown in it, which could be really cool.
Yeah.
But then it becomes real adult real quick when they're talking about fucking, the 14-year-olds talking about fucking girls, and I'm like, this is really weird really quick. They're getting really gross for a kids movie.
Yeah. It becomes Gummo halfway through.
Yeah, it becomes Happiness.
Yeah.
Todd Solondz movie.
Yeah.
But so I'm watching it. I'm like, I'm gonna stick through this, but it's really bad. Like, they had its moments where you were like, oh, if they just kept, like, you saw where they should have edited the movie to make it a better movie, but they probably didn't have enough good things to make it an amazing movie. So it's probably one of those things that was gonna be this big deal, and then what happened was it fell apart. They realized it was shitty, and they're like, Netflix, do you want it? And they're like, yeah, we'll buy it from you for like $50, and then we'll put it on Netflix, because nobody talks about it.
Never even heard of it.
I saw the trailer on Netflix, and I was like, it's a cool idea. It could be really cool, because all the kids look like. I love that kind of stuff. We have kids dealing with adult situations, and they like save the day.
Yeah,
like, it reminds you of like the 80s style stuff, Stranger Things type thing, right? Exactly. So I was like, you could do this really well. But it was just bad. It was just
all right,
overall bad. Yeah, all right, sir was right. I saw that, and then I saw the Ali Wong movie.
What is it?
Always Be
My
Maybe.
Maybe. Did you watch it?
I have not yet.
Now, I don't usually watch romantic comedies. What?
You went out to see it, or is it
on Netflix?
Oh, okay.
It's on Netflix, yeah.
It's good. It's good. It's funny. It's definitely better than Rim of the World, I'll tell you that much. But it's also, like, it's funny standard. Because they're kind of just taking... It's funny, you realize, as a white guy, you're like, yeah, I guess... In the 90s, it was all the romantic comedies were just white people. Like, that was the leading actors and actresses. So now what they're doing is it's kind of course correction.
Almost
like,
all of them.
So it basically, it was a 90s.
There's a few.
That's not a romantic
No,
comedy.
There's black and white. It was black and white. Right. Okay, but not Asian.
True.
And basically, what this was is, oh, you're just making up for lost time. This is a 90s romantic comedy with Asians in it. But there's modern type funny scenes in it. Like, at one point, she's dating Keanu Reeves, and I was fucking laughing out loud.
Okay.
Because he comes in the restaurant, and he's fucking hilarious in it.
Well, what a segue.
Yeah. Check it out. We know Allie. Do you know Allie? Do you know Allie?
Very briefly.
I know Allie.
Down the cellar, but...
I know we're not close, but I know her.
Yeah,
she's super funny, and she's like, a superstar now. So
absolutely,
like, definitely. And the guy she's with, I think his name's Dan something. He's super funny. The guy who was on Off the Boat, whatever it's called.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Yep.
So check out. But I'm not watching it like, oh my god, this is groundbreaking. I'm watching it like, oh, you're playing catch up. Like, you're playing catch up to
gotcha.
and I get it. I think they should do that. Like, it was funny. Like, they had Asian jokes in there, and it had its own perspective. But I wasn't like, oh my god, you're putting the genre on its head. It was just like another romantic comedy.
Yeah, and that's fine because that's, I mean, white people still do the same things. It's still the same old tropes.
Sure.
With a new run, you know what I mean? It's not like everybody's not doing that.
Like, how about this romantic comedy, but we're Asian?
So, yeah,
and they're like, yes, I like the way you think. And I'm like, yeah, I like the way you think too. It did make it more interesting.
I mean, that's kind of what Bollywood is, right? Not the entire genre, but
the whole industry is
yes,
just, yeah, exactly.
I mean,
but no Americans, except for Indian Americans, watch Bollywood.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe some do. I don't know. Is there a whole scene of white people who watch Bollywood?
I don't think so.
There has to be. There
has to be.
Definitely is.
Yeah.
They're married.
I could see film snobs just like specializing in that for sure.
Exactly. All right, now let's get into the meat and potatoes. The meat and the potatoes part of the podcast.
Funny you bring up Keanu Reeves because today we have two heist movies going head to head. One from 1991, Point Break, which I will be defending with Ryan.
Yeah.
And Shawnee Time will be taking 2010? No, a little older, maybe 2010. 2010.
Yeah.
Now I want to, and then I'll be taking.
Say it yet.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you can introduce it.
And I will be taking The Town from 2007 with Ben Affleck, Jeremy Renner.
We already established it was 2010, but
was it 2010? Oh, you're right, 2010.
Ryan even confirmed it.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm like out of it. I'm so sorry. I had 2007 in my head from something else. 2010, right? 2010. I'm off to a bad start.
Deduct a point.
Yeah. Deduct a point. Yeah. Demerits. Here's the thing. I wanted to. Do you want to set up parameters of what we're arguing? Because that kind of worked last time when we did a couple of these. We didn't decide beforehand. Are we arguing action movie or are we arguing bank heist movie?
Well, they're both.
Because one of them wins one and the other one might win the other one.
Interesting.
One of them is more of an action.
Argue as the movie's not as a whole.
All right. We'll argue the movie as a whole.
Okay.
I'll let you guys. You want to start off with your opening arguments about what I want to know? Because here's the thing, Ryan.
Yeah, let's let our guests.
Ryan's very prepared. Ryan rewatched The Town. To prepare himself. And I'll tell you right now, I've seen Point Break more than I've seen The Town.
I've seen both a bunch.
Yeah.
The Town seems to be on a lot, and I do stick with it sometimes. But
and you rewatched it, and what you came out of it with is.
Just right out the gate.
Because here's the thing. When you told me you rewatched it, I thought you were going to come in here and be like, I gotta be honest, I liked it better than I thought I did.
No, man.
Come on, man.
I watched it again and it was just like,
there goes that, come on, man.
Yeah, I was just like, fucking yuck.
Yeah, good. Open up the floodgates.
It's the most, self-consciously Boston movie I've ever seen.
You.
So I that just gives me this gut aversion. The big heist is they steal money from fucking Fenway. I hated that.
I hate that too.
Every scene has just like a Boston reference to it. And it's the same movie. Also, I guess compared to Point Break, I see them as the exact same movie. It's just The Town. It doesn't have as much charm. It's just there's no kind of it doesn't. It also, to me, it's like capturing a Boston that doesn't seem to exist as much anymore. So it's Point Break is sort of this weird time capsule of early 90s LA, surfers and shit. That's an interesting.
That was happening.
Absolutely.
It seemed to be. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I'm asking. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Whereas now it's contemporary. 10 years ago now, Boston was it's blue collar and it's all cops and emergency workers and transit guys. Yeah, well, it's Charlestown, which is a beautiful neighborhood in Boston now, a gorgeous place where we cannot afford apartments, by the way.
Yeah,
and they're just it's this tough, hard scrabble neighborhood where bank robbers. Probably
I think
decades prior we're from. But
I'll stop it. Right here. I'll tell you what happens is that. What you're talking about, they are, first of all, 10 years ago, it probably wasn't as gentrified as it is now, Charlestown.
I bet it was close.
You think so?
I graduated college at 2002, and I had friends move right to Southie.
It is a straight up cute neighborhood.
Yeah, but it's right.
But Southie only the past, every time I go to Boston now, only now are they Southie's gentrified. Southie's different. Southie's not what it was.
Well, in that vein.
Charlestown, if it was gentrified before that, That's not that far before that.
All right, but that's a minor point. I think.
Okay.
I could, yeah.
And they make mention of it. That girl, she's a yuppie.
Right. That's
she's
true.
a hipster. She's
about the
True.
changing neighborhood.
Yeah.
So that's just like right off the bat something that just made me roll my fucking eyes really hard. Also, we're like Ben Affleck's character like could have gone pro in hockey, but like he was too much of a ruffian and he couldn't make. I mean, again, it's the same fucking movie as Point Break, just like if you Bostonified it and like stripped away a lot of the best parts of Point Break, which like I mean, part of it like you can't recreate a lot of parts of Point Break, so like fucking peak Busey, peak Swayze, peak like young Keanu. Catherine Bigelow is a fantastic director, and so it's just sort of like. Do you guys like Ben Affleck a lot? I don't dislike him, but I'm kind of like
I like his.
Not that charming.
I like Ben Affleck.
Okay,
and that's one of the things where I think
he
Ben
makes
Affleck
decent movies.
I think Ben Affleck is underrated. I think people shit on Ben Affleck because it's popular to shit on Ben Affleck. Tell me why he's bad.
I kind of
Because
like
in
him.
this, I think
dislike him.
I think he's pretty charming in this. I think he plays quiet, strong in this pretty well. I think that. The only reason that you're mad that it's a super Boston movie is because there was a lot of Boston movies before that and they were popular.
Yeah.
But if this was standalone, it's not Fever Pitch. It's not like Drew Barrymore and Jimmy Fallon out of
Departed tried to be so Boston.
I know.
It's insulting to Boston.
I think Departed is cornier than this movie as far as Boston goes.
Yeah, I totally turned him around on Departed.
You really did. You did.
You made the same.
Departed to me is the same points you're making. I go, come on. Do we have to shoehorn every fucking Boston actor because they have an accent?
But
and then you get Alec Baldwin who just does a good...
If you look at Gone Baby Gone, right? Gone Baby Gone's a heavy fucking movie. Or Mystic River, heavy fucking movie.
I love Mystic River.
I like both of those.
But they're both draw. They're like if the town came out before them, you wouldn't be thinking what you're thinking now.
I disagree because Mystic River never did bullshit like he was a cop who like wanted to play for the Bruins. And everybody's in like a fucking the identifying tattoo is like literally the Celtics logo. I'm like, dude.
No, it's the Notre Dame logo.
But still.
Is it? But it's
the
similar. It's a similar. It's a leprechaun. But there is guys like that. Also, it might be that one of the best things that Jeremy Renner has done as far as like pushing the envelope of what he can do. And yeah, there is some like one-notedness to it, but I think the acting in it
I don't give it much acting. Jeremy Renner's good. But John Hamm seems out of place.
Yeah, so he's a weird.
One thing I'll give you is that John Hamm is the worst thing he's done. John Hamm is
he's got like a weird dumb haircut.
It's also miscasting. He's not. It's funny because Don Draper is such a fucking quiet, badass character, and him playing an FBI agent, he's a fucking pussy. Like you don't get scared of him.
At all.
Also, no one in Boston is nearly as good looking as anybody in that movie. Like even like ninth build actor
kind of plays a good slutty girl, but I mean she's even way too hot.
None of the women I've seen in Boston
I don't
look like
recognize
that.
any girls from Boston or Massachusetts who look like
Well, even if you look at
Blake Lively, even as much as you tried to slut her down.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at Blake Lively. She came home from Gossip Girl, did that, and pulled it off. You know how hard that is?
She was pretty good.
Yeah,
she was pretty good.
She was maybe the best part of it.
She's pretty good. Affleck, tell me what Affleck has done where he's bad. You know what it is?
None of us said we disliked Ben Affleck.
He did Geely 15 years ago. And people are still.
Neither of us said we disliked him.
But I'm just saying. But it's one of the points that he made was like, I don't know.
All right, Affleck or Catherine Bigelow?
He's always a point in these movies. What?
Right, because Affleck directed The Town.
It's not Catherine Bigelow. Let's be honest. That's a fucking I'm work for hire job for her. When she did the other one, it was amazing. When she
Hurt
did
Locker?
Hurt Locker's unbelievable. Which is Renner. That might be the best thing Jeremy Renner's done. That movie is unbelievably good. But I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like this isn't her stand. Like she's not sitting there going, "I'm gonna rest my laurels on fucking Point Break." Dude.
I think that was like her bit. That was like her. That was her biggest movie in that point in her career.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
No, box office wise, but not like artistically fulfilling or anything like that.
Well, but so here's the thing about Point Break and her, where it's like, if it wasn't well directed, it is a fucking awful movie. Like
definitely.
That script, it's just like every character's an alpha. Do you know what I mean? So like every interaction is them just like out machoing each other. I love it because it's preposterous, but like the action sequences, like they hold up. Like they
action
were
sequences
great.
hold up.
I'll tell you this much, man. I want to say one little point about the thing that what the town falls into. I'm big on underrated. the town is super underrated. It didn't. Now, if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it has like a 90-something%. Like, but when it first came out, nobody paid attention to it because of the reasons that you said. Because they were like, again with Affleck, again with Boston, again with this. But let that stuff air out and let things go by for a while, and it's more likable than it was back in the time that it came out.
Yeah, I
do you know what I mean?
Hate the town, but then again, you just gotta have those things where you go, all right, if the town wants to be the movie that it set out to be, you can't fucking rob Fenway Park.
I know.
Like, that just that makes it a caricature of itself.
Also,
once
you know
they get to there,
man?
because the town was a decent, good action heist movie that had like clever shit in it until you do that. Now you go. Now you're a fucking joke.
They called it like
It had Pete fucking Postlethwaite, which was great. It was great.
Pete Postlethwaite's badass.
And plays a great character, but that's my point.
And he's fucking terrifying in this movie.
He's terrifying.
He's
perfect. It might have been his last movie.
I think
I don't know if it was.
I
Is he
think
dead
it might
now?
have been.
Yeah, he
he's
died
dead, yeah.
pretty
I
recently.
like that guy.
He was great.
He was
He's
great.
always great. But
He is-
that's my point. Is up until then, it holds its own, and then you go, oh, come on, dude.
Yeah, they
here's the
really
thing,
they
though.
set up and be like, we're going to have you rob the Cathedral of Boston.
Yeah, exactly.
Fenway. It's like, oh my
And-
god.
But here's the
against
thing,
the
though, man.
Yankees.
Like, are you from Boston?
No, I'm from DC.
Okay, here's the thing, dude. They're not wrong though. Like,
Yeah.
have you met Boston people?
No,
Like,
I know they're repulsive.
But here's the thing, though. Like what they're saying is all that stuff and what the importance of it and it being a big deal and using Boston as a backdrop. He's not wrong. It is
No, of course, no one's denying that.
And also, when they actually rob Fenway, they show overhead shots of the game, maybe.
Yeah.
But they're not overdoing it, where they're like they have Big Papi come out and like, what are you doing? Like, it's not.
It just felt like it was
Get well soon, Big Papa.
Come on soon, Big Papi.
a
Yeah.
campaign by the Boston Chamber of Commerce. It was just
Yeah, like they were like, hey,
listen,
we're
we
gonna
need a
use
good
these tax
advertisement.
credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're going to use these tax credits. Like, does anybody have a screenplay that could work in Boston? Ben Affleck's like, I got something.
Also,
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You need something. It's Boston set. The characters are super Boston.
Mm-hmm.
When they're doing the actual robbing of the don't get me wrong. I know what you're saying. But they're doing the robbing of Fenway. At least that's straight up, and it's just a bunch of back
don't know
alleys
if it-
and fucking and locker rooms and whatever. It's just it could be any building in Boston.
Yeah.
So they probably
built it
thought,
up as the
if I'm
cathedral.
trying to jazz this up, instead of just making it like the Citibank on whatever on Newton Street, whatever you want to call it. Like, instead of doing that, we're gonna do something real hard. It's gonna be, and I think it was like they robbed. What was it? The pension? Not the pension. They robbed like.
It was after the fucking Yankees weekend.
So there's the beer sales.
Yeah, it's
So
like
the-
the beer sales. So it's like after the biggest weekend of Fenway when they play the Yankees. There's the most cash in the Fenway than there ever is all year.
It's like if you sit
And
there,
you're just like,
think about it, man.
ugh.
Ocean's
right,
11.
but the point
they
is-
robbed 3 casinos.
I know,
Like,
I know.
Point is, Point Break knows itself. It just
No,
yes, it
no,
does.
no.
They don't ever
no,
go after.
It's not. No, it's not self-aware.
Defend
Point Break
it.
is not self-aware.
Really?
Point Break, no way. It thinks it's fucking badass.
It is badass.
It's not badass.
What are you talking
it's
about?
1991 badass. It's not badass. It is not.
Great skydiving scenes, great bank robbing scenes that don't go over the top. They stay within they never take, they stick to their actual rules. 90 seconds, in and out. They always steal from the drawers. You can't trace it. They know what they're doing.
The bank robbery scene, but the bank robbery scene, but even this, the town, way more badass bank robbery and armored car scenes.
I disagree with that, but also, but
No way!
The ex-president. Who do you know more? The ex-presidents or the nuns?
here's
You know the ex-presidents.
Yeah, here's the main difference to me between the bank robberies in the town and Point Break is that, like, at least in Point Break, there was like sort of a philosophy behind it. It was kind of a dumb one, but it's like this like
the surfer one?
yeah,
Yeah, but it has
anti-authority,
its own-
like
it-
chasing
dude,
the
it's-
ultimate high, which
But
like
so is
is
Yes, it's all
kinda
about
dumb
adrenaline.
bullshit.
It's surfing. It's bank robbing.
Yeah.
It's all about getting that. It's got its own philosophy.
It's all part of a cohesive worldview.
Ryan!
Whereas the town, it's this like nihilistic, like. Also, the funny part is it's like just a movie that's very proud about being from Boston, but like the whole goal of the main character is to get the fuck out of Boston. You know, it's like
And then
Yeah,
the one
but there you
guy,
go.
the one guy who's so Boston he can't ever leave. Why not?
Yeah.
You're robbing banks.
Yeah.
You can't leave.
yeah.
Leave.
Because nobody leaves. That's a real thing. How many
Yeah.
people do you
Oh,
know that
that's
didn't leave
bullshit.
Jersey?
No, I get
How many
it.
people do you know that don't leave fucking Virginia or D.C. or whatever it is? But
Nobody's
your
really
hometown?
from there, but yeah,
Right,
I know
what
what
I'm
you
saying.
mean. Yeah.
I don't buy it.
I mean, people I know that like people that
I know there's
people who
people
live
that
in
are
Long
like
Island
that out there.
and going to the city. They go to the city once in their
My
lives.
point is the rationale is idiotic.
Yeah.
What?
I'm not denying that there are people like that. I'm saying the rationale is
The
stupid.
rationale, but at least it's for real. And the whole idea of they're sitting there being nihilistic and they're like, we're robbing this because it's how we were brought up. And I think that's a really isn't the whole idea of Charlestown with the bank robberies? That's a real, actual historical fact about the town.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not anymore. But they were just born with they were just handed the unfortunate circumstance that it's a modern movie.
You're right. I take back the nihilistic
So if they made it in the 70s, it would have been way more authentic,
yeah,
right?
You're right. No, I take back the nihilistic thing. What you said is
Okay, but that doesn't.
That's way more realistic.
You still can't say that Point
Also,
Break
well,
doesn't
I'm-
understand itself.
It's like blue collar bank robbery. It's like that's the trade. You know?
Right.
Right.
Okay,
That's
but
the
then
trade.
But it's not
these
that
guys
compelling.
are just
Just like the
thrill
mafia
seekers.
guys that we talking about in Goodfellas.
Sure.
That's like them
Fine.
being a fucking
family business.
But then
insurance
why
broker.
can't you have thrill seekers who are just robbing banks to fund their next?
You can. I think that's what the
Adventure.
difference between East Coast and West Coast. One's grounded, one's not.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this seems more realistic to me. To I don't know. You know that you're from the East Coast. Like it
Yeah, I'm
seems
not
more
saying
realistic
that.
You know-
than just being like the gods told us to do it.
Here's the thing, though. I think Sean's right, and Andy. I think even though we're on the same side with the Point Break thing, I think the philosophy in Point Break is way dumber. But it's way more fun. It's a lot more fun to watch.
My original point was that the movie knows what it is.
Yeah.
I'm saying as far as when they made it, they were like, this is cool. Like,
Yeah,
that part
it's
of the
a
movie
cool
is not
movie.
cool.
Yeah, it's like
That
a
whole
weird
movie.
time capsule. I
It's a
love
time-
it. I love it for
it's a
that
cool
reason.
It's like
But
watching an episode of Saved by the Bell, dude.
Yeah.
Well, it's from
You know what I'm saying? But that's
1991.
not
You're
cool,
making-
though.
Oh, they do it well, man. I love because it's like it's a choice. It's like an aesthetic. Like fucking
I
Anthony
still
Kiedis
think
is one of the people. Like that
yeah.
is a very specific time period.
Yeah, no,
I
you're right.
love it, man.
But one of the things,
Yeah.
if you're going to chalk up, like, the mystical idea of them robbing the banks for their own whatever quasi religion they have, then that's-
Anti-establishment shit.
yeah, anti-establishment shit. Then I'm going to say the same thing with the whole Boston stuff, where it's like, hey, it's just called making movies.
I'm not okay, but I'm not denying that. I'm saying that it was up until the fucking hokey ending that you had me on that. That's what I'm saying. That ending takes away from what you're arguing.
Which one? Which ending? Oh,
The robbing Fenway.
the robbing Fenway.
At least Point Break sticks to its it sticks to what it set out to do. So you've got this guy's either going to get caught or he's going to die, and then Johnny Utah he's wrestling with his own kind of demons, and he was supposed to also become he was a
Pro quarterback,
quarterback,
Yeah.
and that's how Bodie actually recognizes him. And
It really is the same fucking movie.
But I know that's why we thought it was a good pairing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He was supposed to be a fucking quarterback.
Yeah.
But and then he became an FBI agent.
Because he blew out his knee, which also comes back up in the movie.
Yeah.
And also, I'll tell you,
When he shoots
Point
the gun in
Break,
the air.
Yeah.
he has the guy. And I always look him up on IMDb. One of the guys that was part of the robbery crew, he played Turtle in North Shore. Remember the movie North Shore?
Yeah, sure.
Do you remember North Shore with
seen
Nia
it.
Peoples?
Let's see. There was Roach. There was
There was
Ramen.
Turtle. There was Turtle. Oh, you mean in
And Point Break, the crew was
the
Bodie,
guy?
Roach, Gromit,
I think in
and
Point Break he has a beard. I think in Point Break he has like a weird like Van Dyke kind of beard. But this guy's in every surfing movie.
I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I mean, right? He's distinct looking.
Yeah.
And
When-
then I looked him up, and he's like a surf teacher from Hawaii. Like he's like a surfing guy.
Sick.
Dude, when this is a complete aside here, but I was with two of my friends, and this is funny because they were both at the party on Saturday, and it's one of our favorite memories. This is maybe why Point Break was in my head. We were doing a road trip, like 20 years ago, we were in the car, we were just driving, we were in a long road trip. And to get one of those points on the trip where nobody said anything for a little while, and my buddy Jeff is just kind of asleep in the back seat, and he just wakes up and he's like, "Ah, man, I'm cold." And my buddy Brown, who's driving out of nowhere, he goes, "You're cold because you're going to die soon, Roach. Your body is losing blood." He just pulled out the Point Break reference. After like 2 hours of silence, we all lost it.
Hell
it was
yeah.
great.
That's fucking perfect.
Yeah, it was really, you're
That's
cold
one of
because
those
you're going to die
moments.
soon,
That's one of
Roach.
those moments that you're like, "Oh my god, you can never get that back again."
Yeah.
And then if you try to tell people about it, like in parties and stuff, they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, cool," and you're like, "No, it was amazing."
Yeah. But all right, well, how about this? More iconic lines. Got to go to Point Break.
Oh god, yeah, it destroys the town in terms.
I can't even think of any.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
John, Utah, give me two.
Well,
Right.
Gaffney had a great one. Mike Gaffney was supposed to do the podcast with us and be on my side.
Yeah.
But he couldn't do it. But he had a great one. That I don't know the quote, but it's like
From Point Break or the town?
from the town.
I can't. I'm trying to think of.
I
any
just
from the
watched
town.
it and I didn't. I can't remember a single one.
Wait,
It
hold
was
on.
like, yeah, there's the War Child one. Fucking.
Yeah, there's no.
The Anthony
no,
Kiedis is a little over the top. That what does he say?
But that's what you hire him for.
Yeah, no.
He's gonna be a wild
What is
ass
his?
surfer.
What's
guy.
his?
It's like that. He's doing Anthony Kiedis some
yeah,
stuff in his
yeah.
hand.
he's the bad guy, right?
He's one of them.
yeah,
Yeah,
one
he's
of the
like
bad
one
comes
of
up.
the
Well,
surf crew.
he originally thinks that they're the bank robbers, Utah.
Definitely, the town doesn't have as iconic
We haven't
lines.
even talked about Busey, who was just crazy. Young, dumb, and full of cum. There's another one.
Oh God, he's so good.
John C. McGinley.
Yeah.
All right, better cast then, because I just rattled off. You got Busey,
Better cast.
Swayze,
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves. Now that's a movie who hires those guys knowing what you're going to get out of them.
Yeah. At the height of their powers.
And
too.
isn't it crazy that they kill Pappas? You don't see Busey's death coming. You go, oh man, you
Yeah.
forget he dies. It's a serious movie. I gotta
Whoa,
take that
let's
back.
not go crazy.
As soon as I said
But,
I
yeah.
heard it out loud.
But there are moments
but
that
it might
are.
have one of the most annoying people from the 80s and from the 90s in it. Lori Petty.
Lori Petty sucks.
Lori Petty.
Lori Petty sucks.
Lori Petty.
At that point.
Very
Really?
annoying.
So what's the
Leading
what's the
ladies.
beef with Lori Petty?
She just, I
Super
think
annoying.
she stinks as an actor.
She's annoying in League of Their Own. She's annoying in that movie.
Okay.
Her
I think
character
she plays
sucks
her
in League
part
of Their
well
Own.
in A League of Her Own. That's perfect. Like
But
she
the
plays the
character
under.
sucks.
The character sucks. But
Yeah.
that's usually when you know somebody's doing a good job and you're like, oh, I just fucking hate that character.
Yeah.
Do you know that's not Gina Davis at the end of League of Their Own?
What do you mean?
That's an actress. It looks like Gina Davis with makeup, and it's not her.
Oh, I never thought that it was her. Like, as an old lady?
Oh, I thought it looked like her with makeup on.
I thought they just hired an old lady actress. I never thought that.
All right. Well, anyway. Well, no,
Like, I'm
lines
going to
you
blow
get me
Fury's
on.
mind.
Lines, yeah, I know. Oh, I also want to tell a fact about Pulp Fiction before we end.
Okay.
Lines you get me on
Quotables.
Quotables. Like, there's really no contest on that.
I mean, all right, you could say Jeremy Renner,
Jeremy
great
Renner,
actor.
great actor. Great.
I mean, in terms of acting
Like,
prowess.
here's the thing, like, great hothead, great not knowing, unpredictable character. Great unpredictable character.
Yeah. Ham, good actor, but not in that
Ham,
movie.
good actor, but that's another negative of this one.
I agree.
Like,
Affleck,
I
you can
think,
take
I
him or leave
think
him.
rising up Blake Lively into, like, I'm actually surprised she didn't get more after this, like, that darker stuff-wise. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was good enough in this.
I love her.
She was good enough in this that she could have played those kind of roles more if she wanted to. Maybe
Yeah.
she did, and I just didn't know, but I don't really follow her. I watched, like, a bunch of episodes of Gossip Girl, like, years down the road, like, recently. And, like, I got kind of hooked on it, and then I stopped watching it. People love Gossip
Flip
Girl.
test.
But both I would go back for.
Oh, I don't think so. Ryan, the flip test is one of those movies that are on like Godfather, Jaws. You're like, fuck, I got
Right now, for me,
I would say
the town. I go back quicker to the town because I haven't watched as much. But that's just circumstance.
I don't think I would.
I
you-
do
but
not
you're
care
the
if I
UK
ever see the town again. Ever. I've seen it twice now.
But you're basing it. You're like, oh, the corny Boston thing. But you're embracing
other
the
corny parts.
the corny California surfer
There's
culture
a different
thing.
there's a different quality to it though, where it's like the Boston thing. It's just like sort of a soulless like homage to just like Boston tropes. Whereas like
yeah, but-
I feel like there's a conviction to Point Break. Like they're like
That's
it's,
the word
it's,
I was
it's
looking for.
weird and it seems heightened, you know, years later. But like they believe it. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. There's a lot more
Also,
like I
sincerity
said,
to it.
what an
you mean-
unrealistic
you mean in
love
in
story
Point
that they
Break.
shoot.
In
we're
Point
in.
Break, yeah, it's absurd, but like there aren't any winks. Like you can tell that they don't think that they're being.
Both movies
they're telling
have
like a joke.
absurd things. But I'll say this:
Fucking stupid
and I'm
orange juice
sure,
he puts in the bag with the
Yeah.
money.
what?
He puts the oranges
Yeah,
in the bag
yeah,
with the money.
because I'm going to Florida. That's not a Boston accent, but you know.
Here's the thing. I think both movies have ridiculous things to them, but to me, when I'm looking at like a badass bank heist movie, I look at that as like even if it's the way it's shot, certain ways when they're in the van in the nun masks, it's just like kind of funny, and the kids watching him when he has
That's
a
a cool
machine
scene.
gun. It's a cool scene, and then
But the bank heists are almost secondary to the action of Point Break. It's not meant
Yeah.
to be it's really just that's their funding of their
extreme lifestyle,
extreme adrenaline fueled adventures.
But that's the crux of the movie that people they're chasing after them for the bank heist.
I also think the bank heist scenes are better in Point Break, and it's the thing too where like the town. It's like I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but it's just like
but it's fun, ladies and gentlemen. We are the ex-presidents. It's like
I guess it's like more fun, but I think the one in the town is like. It's more
they're serious.
They have a different take on it. Like when he tells her to relax, and then they're more in the know. Like they're more when they know the lock time's out. They know, like they're more business. They're more like
absolutely. That's why
they're more experienced. They're more
Let me put it this way: like when you're if say you want to watch a bank heist movie, right? Heat's a better movie, right? Than
it was in contention.
Well, we were talking about that.
Today.
Heat's a better movie than what?
Then certainly the town.
Well, that one. Here's the thing about Heat. That scene is the only good thing about Heat.
I think Heat's a wildly overrated movie.
It's super overrated.
Okay, I'll concede that.
We
I don't
almost
like it that
did
much.
Heat versus the town.
We were talking about it.
But he doesn't like Heat. So
okay. Well, this is a great comparison because, like I said, they're the exact same fucking movie. But I guess what the thing is like. I think The Town is a very serviceable bank heist movie, but like with Point Break, it's like the window dressing around it of like the heist like is better. So it's like you have fucking Gary Busey being insane. You have Keanu doing his like airheaded bro thing. You have Swayze being this weird like dreamboat dude that's like also suicidal.
See, Ryan, the difference is this: you're celebrating the Point Break for the tropes that it created from back in the day, and how much fun. Because of how ridiculous some of those things are.
Such a
what
fun
I'm saying
movie.
about The Town is, even though it has some faulty things, the Boston thing aside, it's a badass movie. You can't say that about most of Point Break.
I think you can. And I don't think it's as badass as you think it is.
Yeah,
it's a little slow pacing. It's got
it's more
their love story is way worse than
the Town is better than Heat. I'll tell you that much right now. But besides that, it totally is.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually.
It's about an hour and a half shorter than fucking Heat.
Oh, Heat's long as fuck.
It's long as fuck.
I agree with that.
And then the Heat is like one giant.
Heat gets all the
heist, and then the rest is conversations between famous people.
Yeah,
it's got the cast of Heat. It's got an ensemble that people love.
But
you got to walk away thing.
I put The Town on things that surprise me, man. Like when I say underrated, right? So I'm like, The Town is underrated.
I think it's rated exactly as it is.
Absolutely not. And then secondly, I put it on par with like, all right, another thing that I love is Inside Man. That's another movie that did not get its due. That's a great fucking bank heist movie.
It's a Spike Lee movie.
One of my favorite things Spike Lee has done. Because it was supposed to be a Scorsese movie or something like that, I heard. And then Spike Lee ended up directing it or whatever.
All right, how about this? Because I know we have to get out of here and wrap up. As you mentioned earlier, at the top of the show, you said you might start doing this. You put the quasi-poll out there. What won on the
I didn't put it.
audience?
Well, people were just commenting.
It's okay, so...
I didn't. I should have put a
Joe,
poll.
you're fucking back.
My
you know
vague
exactly
memory
what
is that the town is getting dunked on left and right.
I don't know. I didn't really look at the votes.
Hold on.
I remember scrolling through and seeing the large majority be for Point Break.
Yeah.
And I remember even seeing Joe List, a guy who made a point to be, and I'm from Boston.
Yeah.
Also vote for Point Break.
I think The Town's like a good airplane movie, where it's like if it's like what you have available when you're just like kind of trapped, you're like, eh.
Dislike it as much as with your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I like The Town, but I think it doesn't even come close to Point Break.
Right. And yeah, it's like a Boston movie that isn't the best Boston movie. It's a bank heist movie that isn't the best bank heist movie. You know.
Yeah. So we have 25 comments. I'm gonna do a quick peruse, and
just
we'll
cursory search of that.
Does even a single person defend The Town? I'd be willing to bet it's 25-0.
Comment number 1, Ryan Schutt. The Town? Come on, man. Then we got Johnny Utah. I think he's from The Town.
Yeah.
We're
counting that one.
We'll do. All right. Somebody tally him up.
You can scroll through.
Point Break. We're not talking about the Point Break reboot, are we? I don't know what that means.
Absolutely
Point
not.
Break.
Well, they did make it in 2015.
We should publicly shame whoever defends The Town.
Somebody wrote "Don't be ridiculous." Point Break. Somebody just said them abusing Keanu shooting up.
Yeah.
Point Break. My cousin wrote Point Break. Somebody did a Point Break meme. Point Break meme.
The ex-presidents. There's Reagan.
Here we go. All of you are nuts. The Town.
Yeah.
And that's Chris Cope. Chris Cope.
All of you are nuts.
Chris Cope, very funny comedian, nice guy, and he knows what he's talking about.
Horrible taste.
The Town, Bill Camel, somebody I know from home.
The fact that he had to write "all of you are nuts" shows that
Overwhelming deluge.
The Town.
of
Here we go,
people.
another Town.
I think you're making them
Point
up
Break.
now.
I'm not. Joe List,
We
Point
have
Break.
no way to confirm this.
Joe List,
Point
baby.
Break, Point Break, Point Break, Point Break. Point Break kills it.
Yeah.
But that's all the more reason to explore The Town.
What a
I'm
last
telling
gasp
you,
effort.
you want to talk about underrated? Like these, they don't know.
I'm
I don't
saying
think.
it's-
But we have to go back to them and go. How many of you watched The Town in the past fucking year?
I've seen it pretty recently.
I watched half of it today, and I still was like watching it like this is fucking great.
The first half.
Sean, how often do you watch Point Break?
Not that often, but I've
Yeah.
seen it way more than The Town. I've seen it a lot of times. It's the same reason where it's on a lot and stuff like that. I think it's safe to say, Alex, even though they're ganging up on me, I think they won for the day. I think you guys brought up great points. I think that it depends on the parameters. I think the parameter we set as far as bank heist, I thought, to me, their outfits, them with the ghoulish mess, I think that's way more terrifying.
They're nuns. They're not ghouls.
They had a ghoul early on. The first,
Yeah.
The first robbery is these scary Halloween masks.
I was kind
Oh, I
of
don't
cringing because I
remember that
thought they
at
were
all.
dreadlocks at first. I was like, goobly.
yeah.
But,
And then the nuns.
masks were ghouls.
No.
Irish Catholic
No, they
nuns.
do very ghoulish stuff.
yeah.
And even the nun mask, I'm like, there you go. That's funny to me, I think. Like,
Yeah.
Like, I think parts of Point Break end up corny years later. I think that's part of the reason that you guys like
Cool
it.
chase scene. The chase scene in the town's pretty cool. I give you that.
Yeah,
I like
the
the
one-
one. I don't hate the
The
town.
one in the north end was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the close streets.
It was really cool. And also, the logistics to shoot that must have been insane.
Yeah.
But I do think you guys win for the day.
I think so.
Defenders, let us know what you think. I think we kind of ran through it. I think also the girl, who's the actress that plays his love interest in, not Blake Lively, the other one. She is.
She's a babe and a half.
She's
man.
great.
Oh my
she's
God.
in.
Yeah.
She's a
She's
really
gorgeous.
good English actress. She's in The Prestige.
Yeah,
really?
oh my God, she's great in this too.
Yeah,
she's
she
great.
is.
In it. And also, great opening scene after the heist when he tells her walk until you feel the water on your
Yeah,
toes.
Yeah.
And then they have these cut shots of them watching planes going by, and that's supposed to be the thing that connects them. There's little things in them I think that make it a better movie, and it's not beating you over the head with cheesy shit. Besides maybe the Boston stuff, but I concede. I think that you guys did win for the day. Defenders, let us know at Defend Your Movie on Twitter, defendyourmovie@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. This was set up off of one of your suggestions. So it wasn't the exact suggestion, but it got us thinking. So definitely send in some more. Ryan, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me. This was so much fun.
Say your Twitter and your Instagram.
At Ryan Schutt. That's RYSCHUTT.
And we'll have you back for another one
I'd love
because
to.
you're a big movie guy.
Yeah.
We're at Showbiz Studios. That's showbizstudios.com with our friend Alex Brazel. They have a YouTube page and an iTunes page. Andy, what would you like to promote, my friend?
I am just in the city for the rest of the month of June, so check out andyfiore.com for all my tour dates. I'm on the road a little bit more in July and definitely August, so you can follow me at Twitter on Twitter at Andy Fiore, same as Instagram, and check out my SiriusXM show, The Raw Report, every Thursday at 4 p.m.
And I have my serious show called Celebrate. It's once a month on Raw Dog, and also check out. I'm opening for Gary Goldman at Helium on the following Wednesday after this comes out. So
shit.
Nice.
come if you're in the Philly area, come see it. Come see one of the best comics there ever was.
And Coleman. It's a great
They know what I meant. But that's it. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
We'll see you
guys.
next week, and thanks for listening. Bye-bye.